Starting today, state aid payments will be directly tied to kids going to school. The goal of the new statewide policy is to make sure that more kids show up more of the time.
24-Hour News 8's Danny Carlson joining us now with reaction from West Michigan's largest school system and how they're handling truancy.
Yeah, that's right, Brian and Sue. The very first day that the state law went into effect is the same day GRPS decided to take a look at their own truancy policy. Now, that state law means that every child 6 through 17 has to go to school, or else the state may revoke benefits. Now, as I mentioned, this is the same day that the GRPS school board heard a reading on its own proposed absence policy, a policy that GRPS hasn't had since April. Board members did stress tonight that they want to make sure they're consistent, especially if some families' livelihood may depend on it.
Felicia Smith says she understands how some people may think the new state law may be targeting the underprivileged, but
you should want your child to go to school, really.
She has received state aid and tells us no matter what else was going on in her life, it was always important to make sure her daughter got to school.
I think that everybody needs to make sure that their kid is in school. For one, especially in the Grand Rapids public school system, the dropout rate is so high. It's really no need for that if you see doing your job as a parent.
Right now, nearly a quarter of all GRPS students have missed more than 18 days of school per year, leading to the board's new proposed policy where high school students could potentially fail a class if they're absent 12 times or more per semester, whether those absences are excused or not.
We have high expectations, and frankly, getting to school every day on time is not really that high of an expectation.
Spokesperson John Helmholtz says the district looks at the state's new policy as just another tool in the box to make sure that kids get an education, telling us they plan to use it as a last resort when all other district fail-safes, like getting truancy officers and counselors involved, hasn't worked. Those fail-safes kick in when any student misses a single day of school.
If by all means those things fail, then you have a situation of child neglect on hand. You have a situation where we may need to call Child Protective Services because there's something that's happening on the home front where mom, dad, parent, guardian are not tending to the basic needs of that child, and that starts with making sure you're in school every day.
The state's new policy applies to people newly applying for state aid and to those who have to renew their applications. And the superintendent did say at tonight's meeting that she plans to have a meeting on truancy with several different state agencies, county agencies later this week to discuss the truancy policy and how it will and should be implemented at GRPS.